Imagine waking up in the middle of the night to the sound of your front door being broken open. You can hear men in boots approaching your room as panic and fear flood your mind. Word had gotten out that you defied the government and were secretly practicing a religion in your home. The soldiers enter the room yelling and pointing guns at your spouse and 2 children as they're frozen in terror. In an instant, the men grab you and your family and take you from your home. You will either be put to death or forced to work in a labor camp for the rest of your life. According to the 2022 Democracy Report from VDEM Institute, 5.4 billion people, or 70% of the world's population, currently live under a dictatorship. Although the United States is not a perfect nation, its citizens have a plethora of human rights that many people across the globe do not obtain, so much so that it may be difficult to comprehend what these people's lives are like. However, by the end of this speech, you'll have a better understanding of what these citizens experience on a daily basis. Due to the oppression of billions of citizens living under dictatorships, key human rights activists share their stories to spread awareness about the problems facing their nation. I'll be explaining the personal stories and experiences of 2 people that lived under the tyranny of dictators in North Korea and Equatorial Guinea. North Korean citizens face oppression in the forms of starvation, unethical medical procedures, and the cruel use of military force under the power of Kim Jong-un. Ji Song-ho, a North Korean defector and current member of the National Assembly in South Korea, shares his experiences living in North Korea. In an interview with Rick Wallasey from The Australian, G recalls how his family used to survive by eating the ground-up core of corn husks and the roots of cabbages during the North Korean famine of the mid-1990s. In addition, there was no meat and never any oil besides the few times that they could kill and eat rats while digging up the seeds stashed in their burrows. During this time, food was so hard to come by that many North Koreans resorted to illegal activities simply to prevent starvation. In an interview with Paul Bond from The Hollywood Reporter, G recalls when he was attempting to steal coal from a train car in order to trade for food, when he lost consciousness from hunger and fell onto the tracks. When he regained consciousness, G realized that a train had run him over and cut off his left leg and hand, resulting in a 4-hour and 30-minute operation without the use of anesthetics. He remembers everything that was being done to his body, including the saw cutting through the bone in his leg and the scalpel through his flesh. He remembers screaming at the top of his lungs and the surgeon slapping him across the face to wake him every time he passed out from the pain. In addition to the unethical medical treatment that G experienced, he also shares the personal attacks on his disability by North Korean police with Michael Glendenning from The Guardian. After returning from a brief expedition from China to look for food, G was arrested and tortured by the North Korean military police. After taking his crutches, he was severely beat for a week and was told that he brought shame to North Korea for only having one leg. G states this event as the source for his devotion to flee from North Korea. Moving along from North Korea, we go to analyze the lives of citizens living under the dictatorship in Equatorial Guinea. Currently under the rule of President Teodoro Obiang, citizens in Equatorial Guinea face oppression through the unethical, lethal use of military force and the selfish misuse of state funds for personal enjoyment. Tutu Elikante is an Ecuadorian human rights lawyer and the founder of EG Justice, which is a foundation that focuses on human rights, anti-corruption, and the rule of law in Equatorial Guinea. In 2012, Alicante gave a presentation at the Oslo Freedom Forum in which he shared his experiences living in Equatorial Guinea and the corruption under President Obiang. He remembers a day from August 1993 in which the military arrived in his village with the orders to suppress an uprising by a group of young men. However, without any verification, the soldiers arrested, tortured, and abused every young man in sight. Furthermore, they publicly executed 2 of them and burned down Alicante's family's house. In addition to the aggressive and immoral use of military force, President Obiang selfishly keeps a majority of the nation's wealth for himself and his family. Although Equatorial Guinea is the 3rd largest oil-producing country in Africa, there is a severe lack of education, running water and electricity, and adequate health care. Alicante explains that the children in his country lack basic school supplies and that his nieces and nephews must fetch water in buckets every single morning. When the French authorities raided President Obiang's 101-room mansion in Paris, they seized furniture and rare artwork worth tens of millions of dollars, along with 11 luxury sports cars. Obiang also flies on private jets and owns over a dozen palaces spread across the country, while many Equatoguineans don't even own a house or shoes. According to World Bank, 70% of his nation lives in severe poverty, while Obiang and his family live a life of unimaginable luxury. Today we talked about the lives of people that live under the rule of a dictatorship, and we shared the stories of 2 people from across the globe that experienced this tyranny firsthand. Through the bravery of these human rights activists spreading awareness about the problems in their nation, we have a better understanding of what the lives are like for citizens that live in dictatorships. For those of you all in the audience, I encourage you to spread awareness about the presence and the negative impact of dictatorships on their citizens. I also encourage you to support your local refugee centers in your city. Your care and help could mean so much more than you could ever realize. I want you to imagine a world where every citizen has rights. Every citizen has the freedom to practice the religion of their choice and seek peace and safety in their own home. The people have the freedom to question their government and seek to reform it. And everyone has the freedom to have an opinion and speak their mind. Instead of a world where governments take away their citizens' rights, I want you to imagine a world where governments protect them. Thank you.